dudes were like, why is this happening? That's why. Because you become a special version of yourself. I'm so proud of you guys. Some cold-blooded guys. This is the whole point. Enjoy this one, guys, because you earned every inch.
That's how you play fucking football, bro. When we play company football on all levels, bro, I don't think no team in the NFL really can. They can't. Y'all see the put in week in, week out, bro, and that's how you go out there and make that.
Hey, yo.
Like you hurt.
Hang on 3, 1, 2, 3.
We had to show you like all 2.5 minutes of that celebration because boy, do the Dolphins deserve it. I will say that there were reports earlier, guys, that they took the Papa shot out of the locker room. They got rid of all the distractions, so that's kind of why they're rolling around in the laundry baskets out there because they are lit, but good reason. Josh Allen said after this game, by the way, this was a blowout, 30-13 in favor of the Dolphins. Josh Allen said after the game, it just seemed like the Dolphins they wanted it more. They came out and they fought. You heard Mike McDaniel and the emotions that's gone into this. Pete, I want to come to you first here. Were you surprised that the Dolphins were able to win the way they did today? They got so big.
Look, and we talked about this up at the green room, and I mentioned it to both of you. When these teams win games and put so much into the emotion of trying to win a game, like the Bills did last week against the Chiefs are their prove-it game. And then you go out on the road against a team that you're supposed to beat, one that Josh Allen, by the way, has owned in his career, and you don't play well, and all of a sudden you look up and you're down and you can't get out from underneath it, that's a problem. We've seen Green Bay did it. Green Bay did it last week, losing at home to Carolina. So I'm just curious, and I ask this question to players all throughout the years. What in the hell happens? How do you go from being that high to that low?
Yeah, I think you don't, as a regular fan, maybe you don't realize just how much emotion you have to conjure to really play this game at the level that you need to play it with the spirit that you need to play it with. And I think, when you look at a game like the Bills-Chiefs and, all of the narratives around it, you have people's legacies on the line. One can beat them in the regular season, the one can't beat them in the postseason. All of these things, it can be very draining. And when you go out there and you have the result that you want, it's hard to come in that next week and fully hit that reset button. And that type of thing, when it happens on the field, I blame the coaches because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to is the coaches. You have to be able to frame the mindset of your team. You got to have your hand on the heartbeat and the temperature of your team at all times and where they're at mentally, emotionally, things of that nature. If you can't catch those things early in the week, you'll see a result like this. So, yes, I do think emotionally, if you can't reset and go back to zero, enjoy the win for that 24 hours, reset and get back to work, it is hard to go out there and do it on a consistent weekly basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And as being somebody who was a part of this Buffalo Bills organization, I can tell you guys, the Chiefs, that's not their prove-it game. That's their Super Bowl because that's the team that has stopped them from getting to the Super Bowl and maybe winning a Super Bowl year after year after year. So to your point, this is a team that has so much talent. When you look at Josh Allen, when you look at James Cook, you look at this offensive line, and you look at the defense where a lot of these guys have played together for a really long time. This is a team that understands that 99.9% of games, they can just roll the ball out there and win because they're just naturally better than those teams. When it comes to the Chiefs, they're up here, and that's all they think about. And most of the time, all year long, it's not about beating the team that's in front of you. It's about playing a brand of football that's good enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs come playoff time. So when you have so much investment into one team, when one team, one player, one coach lives in your mind rent-free, and again, you combine that with the fact that you got Josh Allen and you're probably going to win a lot of games just because of that alone, that creates complacency when it comes to playing teams that aren't the Chiefs or maybe not on your level like the Dolphins today. So I think that you're absolutely right. And again, being a part of that organization, I know it's all eyes on Kansas City at all times, and that provides opportunity for you to overlook the Miami Dolphins.
I wonder how this result would have been different if the Chiefs game came after this Dolphins game instead of before like we saw last week. Nonetheless, Pete, I'll give you last word on the Bills. Is there any concern, I guess, with this team? Because when you go back and you look at their losses, they lost to the Patriots, and we're learning that the Patriots are a top team in this league. They also lost to the Falcons, and then today they lose handily. It's like the worst loss for Buffalo since 2011 against this team. Is there any concern for you with Buffalo that there might be a fall-off? Because they're your team to make it to the Super Bowl.
Well, there's a major concern. It's run defense. It's been a major concern all year long. You saw Achane go right through him today for 175 yards. They made calls during the trade deadline to try and get some. They called on Quinnen Williams. They couldn't get it done. The Jets wouldn't trade with him in the division. They need help in there. They need to get guys back. First and foremost, no Ed Oliver is big for them.
Yeah.
If they get guys back, and they'll start getting, maybe they get him back for the postseason. But the bottom line is teams have run on him. The Chiefs didn't. That's not who the Chiefs are. They didn't run on him last week. But teams that run the football are going to give them a lot of problems.
Let's go to the other side really quick. It kind of feels like the season is too far gone in Miami, but you have to think that like a win today, it does feel good. We did have Teron Armstead on the show earlier in the week, and he took the bold prediction. He did pick the Dolphins to upset the Bills today, so we need to give him his flowers there. But Jason, in terms of just the rest of the season, this is a team that's going to Spain next week. They're going to play in the first ever Spain game against the Commanders, an opportunity to win there potentially. Then they've got the Saints, the Jets, Steelers, Bengals, the list goes on. What did today's win, I guess, do for the morale of the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the morale has been pretty low over there. It's been quite the media circus, if we're being honest. Tua calling out teammates and things of that nature, not really what you want to see out of your leader. Normally, those kinds of things should be handled in-house, especially from your quarterback. If guys aren't coming up to meetings, if you have a quarterback that's holding player-only meetings and players aren't showing up, and the players they don't respect you. So it's really not what you want to put out there in the media to begin with. Honestly, I didn't like that he did that. But point is, there are some culture issues here. I think it obviously starts with Mike McDaniels. I had my concerns of him becoming a head coach. I didn't think that he would have the heartbeat of a locker room. I didn't think that guys would really believe in him. Yes, he has his quirkiness. He's himself, this, that, and the third. But these are grown men we're talking about. And at the end of the day, we're going to war every Sunday. And if they can't look at their leader and feel like they're going to run through a brick wall for their leader and go to war, it's just not going to work out. So from that standpoint, it is what it is. I think they can continue to stack wins because at the end of the day, they got to figure out what they got on this roster. That's what the reality is. Most likely, this regime is probably going to be changing. It already has some changes this year already. So it's good for them. I'm glad that, Tua's getting back on a straight track. And let's see if they can, put some wins together for this year.
And on top of that, I mean, from the video that we just showed, the 2.5-minute video that we just showed from inside the locker room, winning brings people together.
Yep.
You want to talk about a culture, a team that has no culture, a locker room that's a little bit divided when you have a quarterback that comes out and calls players out and things of that nature. So all that to say, when you win, especially a game like this that you're probably not supposed to win, it gives you a feeling. It gives you a feeling of camaraderie. And like Mike McDaniel said, everything that we've been through was for moments like this. Let's remember it. Let's keep stacking them.
We're going to remember that when we are in Spain next week. I say we, it's me. I'm going to Spain.
Wow. Bailing on us, huh?
I am. I'm leaving you guys. But I'm going to bring you back gifts.
Okay.
We got to hit a break here. Game Day Recap. Producer Jack telling us we got to go. So we're going to hit a break. When we come back, though, we are talking Texans. A fourth quarter comeback for the ages. We're breaking it down next on Game Day Recap.